we're going to change direction a little bit. We're going to talk about browsers now, specifically the Microsoft Edge Chromium browser. Now, you might have heard of it already, or you might not, but in our next piece, Daniel Dunn is going to take a look at some of its key features and how you can get a hold of it as well.
Hello, and thank you for joining me here today with the NCBI Labs, where we are going to take a look at the brand new browser from Microsoft. Now, this browser is called Microsoft Edge Chromium, and it is based on the popular browser Google Chrome. So for users who love the feel of Google Chrome but want to stick with Microsoft's recommended browser, this is the solution for you. Also, for somebody who has a visual impairment, the browser has a beautiful built-in vocalizer for reading web pages called the Immersive Reader, and we'll take a look at that feature later on. But first up, we are going to take a look at installing the browser. So we're going to open our traditional Microsoft Edge browser, and we're brought to the default home page, and at the top we're going to type in Microsoft Edge Chromium. So we just simply tap that into our search bar, and if we tab down a few little bits, we get to the new Microsoft Edges here. It is powered by the same open source technology as Google Chrome, providing the best-in-class web and extension compatibility. So we're going to tab to download now and commence our download page. And in the center we have download for Windows 10, so a couple of tabs if you're using a screen reader just to get to that. And we'll tap on that and it commences to download. So we'll just speak about, and then we have a pop-up box. We go accept and download on that, and it begins, and we can choose to run from that. And after a few seconds, the installer will commence automatically. Just give it permissions. Answer yes to that. And the installer then will commence. So just while that's installing, we'll go through some of the features of the new browser. So it will be compatible with Chrome browser extensions. However, when you go to install those, you may get a little warning saying from Microsoft that even though these extensions are optimized for Google Chrome, but they should still work fine. Websites that were designed for Chrome and had issues with the old version of Edge or Internet Explorer will now work perfectly. And also another positive is you're going to get updates for your browser approximately every 6 weeks, just as you would for Google Chrome. So now the browser has installed, so I'm going to click close and continue, and it will close down the old version of Microsoft Edge and just put the new icon on the desktop for us. And there is a subtle difference in the icon. Instead of the traditional white E in a blue square, we now have a green and blue swirl similar to a wave. So I guess that's Microsoft's way of saying this is the way you're going to surf the web. So that has done installing, and we just give it a couple of seconds to open up, and we get our welcome screen. We can see the icon has changed. It says welcome back, welcome to the new Microsoft Edge. It's just a little animation, and we can tab to get started. Select that. It will ask you if you would like to sign in with a Microsoft account. Now, if you do have one, it's a good idea to do it here. What will happen is you can instruct the browser to store your information, your browsing history, your passwords, if you so choose, have those stored with your profile. And it might be a good idea if you're a multi-device user, because this new version of Microsoft Edge Chromium is also available for iPads, iPhones, and Android and Macs. So if you're a multi-device user, it might be a good idea to sign in and have your data available and your history available. So when you're going from device to device, you can access the pages you've already viewed. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're continuing without signing in. And we are landed on the home page. You get welcome and just a little confirmation that we have installed it, and also informed us that it's available on the App Store and Google Play, so you can pop it on your mobile device too. But we're going to click on the home button and return to the main page, which is the traditional Bing homepage, allowing you to search the web. Like most other browsers, you can customize the homepage, so many people would still prefer Google to be their default page, and you can simply set that up in the options. So now that we have the Microsoft Edge Chromium browser installed, we're going to take a look at some of the features. But before we do, some of the reasons why you might choose Microsoft Edge. The browser includes tracking prevention, and it also contains potentially unwanted program blocker. And these are two unique features that Microsoft have popped in the browser, which might be worth considering if you are thinking of changing. But now we're going to take a look at a feature that is of particular interest to somebody with a visual impairment, and that is the Immersive Reader. So first of all, we're going to go to the RTE News website. And we're going to tap in on the first news headline here. And in the address bar, we now get this Immersive Reader, which can be accessed by pressing the F9 key on your keyboard. So we're just going to tap on that. And it has changed the outlay of the page to remove all the clutter and just give us basically the photos and the text from the article that we are interested in. So you access that by pressing the F9 key. This reveals a new bar just underneath the address bar, which contains a read aloud option, text preferences, and reading preferences, as well as grammar tools. So we're going to take a look at the text preferences first. And this allows you to increase the text size by moving the slider to the right. In addition, you can also encourage text spacing, which spaces out the lettering to the full width of the page. And we will just scroll down the page a wee bit now to have a look at that. In addition, there are page themes at the bottom, which you can change to whatever suits you. And there's quite an interesting and popular one where it changes the background to black and the text to white. There is a More Themes button, which you can expand to reveal several more color combinations and text color combinations. So that is the text preferences. The reading preferences, you can have line focus. You can enable that. So the browser will highlight a line of text, or you can set it to highlight 3 or 5 at a time, which can be useful for somebody to try and keep their position on the page. In addition, you have grammar tools, and you can split words into syllables, which can be switched on there. But at the moment, we are going to listen to the read aloud.
Harris says those who can wear face coverings really should. Wearing face coverings is not mandatory. The Minister for Health has said he is a little bit concerned about the uptake of the wearing of face coverings among the public. Simon Harris said this evening there is very clear public health advice on this, and that if people are using public transport or going into shops or supermarkets, then they should wear a face covering.
So That is quite a good engine that Microsoft have included in their browser. Even though it is a synthetic voice reading back, the quality of it is exceptional compared to anything else that's out there at the moment. In addition, you can change the devices, and you can pick an American accent or an English accent, Canadian, Australian. There is plenty of accents that you can choose from in device options. You can also slow it up or speed it down. And there is also a facility to add more voices. So that's a little demonstration of the Immersive Reader and the voice readback options available in the new Microsoft Edge Chromium browser. Definitely one to try out, and perhaps it could become to replace Google Chrome as your favorite browser in the future. Thank you very much for watching. And again, if you need any assistance in getting the new Microsoft Edge browser onto your device, please don't hesitate to contact your NCBI support trainer.
Very good. So thank you very much, Daniel, for taking us through that. That browser looks excellent, actually. Really good features on it as well. And JP actually just has some questions here for you, Daniel, if you're able to answer a couple of questions from JP, please.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I do indeed. Thanks, Stu. Thanks, Daniel. It was a great demo of Edge Chromium. A few questions here you might be able to help with, Daniel, have come in. Because I suspect we're going to be hearing more and more about Edge Chromium in the coming while. First one is, will I be able to make Google the default search engine in Edge Chromium? So I presume if someone is not used to using maybe Bing, but they want to switch over to Google as their default search engine, can they do that?
They certainly can indeed, yeah. You have the option of going into the options within Edge Chromium and changing your default homepage if you want your Google engine to start off there, but you also have the addition to change your search engine, and that is where you actually use the address bar as your search engine as well. It's something that has been out now quite a while in some of the more modern browsers. So rather than looking for the Google homepage, you just go straight to your address bar, type in what it is you're searching for, and that shoots across what you're searching for to your preferred search engine. So that definitely can be set up. It
can be done. That's great. I think a lot of people will be really pleased with that.
Yeah.
So next question is actually to do with Chromecast, and I know I'm a big fan of Google Chromecast myself, but this one is asking, this person's asking, will I be able to use Edge Chromium with my Google Chromecast?
A little bit of sad news. So this is one of the cons about this browser, is at the moment there is no option built into to Microsoft Edge Chromium to access your Google Chromecast. So maybe it's something that might enable in the future, but just right now it's not there.
Right now we have to watch this space. Okay. And then I know it's early days, Daniel, but this person's asked, do you see any disadvantages from switching to Edge Chromium from other browsers such as Google Chrome?
At the moment, I suppose that I'm a big Chromecast lover myself. That is kind of spoiling the party for me at the moment. I haven't really come across any other, any other things that would really upset me.
Yeah. And then there's a couple more. Is can I expect Edge Chromium to download automatically with the latest Windows update?
Right. Okay. So at the moment, Microsoft are pushing the new browser through their update service. However, it's not coming to everybody at once. So at the moment, most people, I think, will have to go through the manual install. Just go to your browser, search for Microsoft Edge Chromium, and go through the download procedure there. I have a feeling it's something to do with Microsoft and want to kind of trickle it out there rather than let out in the gush, because they're conscious of the bandwidth at the moment. But if you do really want it, you can go get it.
And you showed everyone how to do it in the video, which is great. Another question that's come in is, has anyone had a chance to work with Narrator using the new Edge browser, and what's the performance like? So again, it's quite early days. I know I haven't had a chance to test it out myself, but I'm certainly would like to do so.
Yeah, me neither, JP. I just haven't got that far with it yet. So, but definitely it will be one to road test.
Yeah.
I haven't tested it either.
Yeah. Okay. So we can certainly look into that one. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Great. There's some questions. Thanks so much for answering the questions, Daniel.
No problem. Thank you.
Very good. That's great. So hopefully you've had your questions answered there. Maybe, Daniel, could I just ask you one other question, just as a kind of a takeaway point on this?
Yeah.
With the Chromium browser, if you were to just kind of sum up why it's of interest to somebody from an accessibility perspective, is that voice sounded incredible? Would that be the kind of key takeaway point?
For me personally, it's one of the clinchers. If you enjoy listening, hitting the read aloud button there and listening back to your article being read out to you, it's nearly as good as Eileen Dunn on the 9 o'clock news. It is that good. I have to hand it to, I think Microsoft actually bought out a company and employed their technology into producing that read aloud feature for this new browser. And I would love to see that extended across, maybe even a rater picking up and using that. It's such a brilliant job on the wording, so it's well done to them again.
Yeah.
I think Eileen Dunn is a leash woman, though, isn't she?
That would be true. Yes, we stick up for our leash people here.
The inter-county war has broken out again. I better cut this short. Very good.
What about Pascal Sheehy? Can we get an imitator for Pascal Sheehy?
We'll look into that as well. Very good. So that's an excellent piece of software that we can use. Appreciate your work on that, Daniel. And again, if anybody does have any further questions, just if we haven't had a chance to address them here today, we can always get them by responding to them in an email, or we can get to them on a future program as well. So thanks everyone for your part in that.